From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ijoma Oyato.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, the Sultan of Sokoto, Saad Abubakar III, and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar called for end to ASUU Strike. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal, gives commitment that the House may reconsider education budget to meet ASUU's demands. Aviation Minister responds to the President's query over purchase of armoured vehicles, insists aviation budget covered the deal. And German Chancellor lashes out at the United States for alleged monitoring of her phone calls.
On business news tonight, the House of Representatives to conduct a hearing into the state of the federal government's accounts.
And on sports news tonight, English FA hits Chelsea manager Jose Mourinho with a hefty fine for his conduct during a league match against Cardiff City last week.
And live from Abuja, we bring you reports on the accusations and counter-accusations in the SR East rerun elections in Edo State, plus the push to make international laws binding on sovereign states. We start off tonight with what looks like a strong commitment from the House of Representatives to the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, that their demands may be taken care of through appropriation adjustment. The Speaker, Honourable Aminu Tambuwal, at today's plenary called on ASUU's leadership to back down and accept an amicable agreement with the federal government. He expressed worry about the huge damage the strike may cause the nation's education sector if not addressed.
I will, on your behalf, for the optimum time, call on both sides to place the interest, particularly of the students and the nation, over and above whatever sentimental position any side is holding. The earlier we get back our students to their respective universities, the better, and I believe that will be in the best interest of this country. So once again, we'll be calling on ASUU and the federal government, in this case the executive arm of government, to please quickly bring bring this matter to an end, resolve it, and if there is any need for further appropriation to be made or for any law to be amended, for any of these conditions to be met, the House of Representatives is very willing and ready to expeditiously attend to such requests. Please, we need our students back to their respective schools. We so plead.
Well, staying with the lingering dispute between the federal government and ASUU, the former Education Minister, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, today in Abuja threw a challenge to the federal government to choose between rebuilding the university system and maintaining standards or allowing the current rot to continue. She also says that the missing link in this long-drawn face-off is a lack of acceptance of the importance of dialogue in this kind of dispute.
There is absolutely no point of disagreement as to the necessity to rebuild the structure of university system. But a university system is not just about the physical structure. It's about the quality of the faculty. And that is where the conversation as to what kind of university system do we want to run. The challenge is in terms of performance, accountability, and reward. Did you see the way I laid it out? Performance, accountability, and reward. How do you design the kind of system that ensures that academics are duly rewarded according to the excellence and the brilliance and the scholarship that they show, and to do it in the way that you don't take everybody down on the race to the bottom. There needs to be a conversation, and I think that's what is missing in the way that this drawn-out issue of a disagreement between the government and ASUU.
Former Education Minister Dr. Obi Ezekwesili. In the meantime, the Academic Staff Union of Universities continues to argue that it's not against dialogue, although it's yet to see enough commitments from the authorities in this regard. Today, ASUU members in Benin City and Akure took to the streets to create awareness about their plight. Now, while that of Benin went on fairly well, their counterparts in Akure, Ondo State capital, were stopped by the police.
That the Academic Staff Union of Universities is on strike is no longer news, but the worry of most concerned citizens is how to end the 4-month-old strike. The lecturers insist they have a point and must be heard. In Ondo State, they gathered singing solidarity songs, asking Nigerians to understand their plight. But their protest march could not go beyond the gates of the Federal University of Technology, Akure, as the police barricaded the road out of the area.
And unfortunately today, we are finding ourselves being halted by the law enforcement agents, even when under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we have our rights on a peaceful rally in this form.
In Benin City, Edo State, the lecturers, all dressed in their academic gowns, also took to the streets. They argue that the 130 billion naira which the federal government claims to have released has not reached the universities.
What we want Nigerians to know is that that 100 billion that they claim to have given to universities, if you were conversant with happening recently, and if you were abreast with the news, vice chancellors have come to tell the world that they have not received a kobo of that 100 billion, even though ASUU's position is that that amount is far below what is expected to revitalize the Nigerian university system.
The Senate, the House of Representatives, and even the presidency had appealed to ASUU to return to the classrooms while the matter is being sorted out.
ASUU must leave politics alone. We must return to the reality that we face. We should have sympathy on our children that we teach. What is going on is no longer in the interest of our country. It's not in the interest of our educational system, and it is killing the university system. So we need to turn a new leaf and go back to school.
The appeal of all concerned Nigerians is for both sides to drop their hardline positions and see to the suffering of the students and perhaps suspend the strike.
Staying with what to do about education, the challenge of turning the sector around was the focus of a gathering of concerned Nigerians in Abuja today. Both the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Saad Abubakar III, and the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar agree that the sector appears to be at risk. At a national dialogue on education and good governance, participants also affirmed that Nigeria risks being left at the lowest rung of development with the unchecked decay in the sector. The current face-off between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities also caught the attention of participants.
Statistics from the Ministry of Education indicate that of the 61 million children out of school globally, 31 million are in sub-Saharan Africa, and of that number, 10.3 million are Nigerians.
We're here to exchange ideas.
This worrisome state of affairs, seen as a reflection of the current state of Nigeria's education sector, is what has brought these key players and products of Nigeria's post-colonial education system together to brainstorm ways to salvage the sector.
Some of the issues that need to be considered include the structure of ownership and funding of our public schools, whether we should focus on numerical increases of our schools or consider merging and growing the existing schools.
Funding is one of the key issues that has led to the closure of public universities following the industrial action by the Academic Staff Union of Universities. These prominent Nigerians believe the strike provides platform to sanitize the nation's education sector.
People are seeing it as a political thing between ASUU and government. But the children are suffering. They are at home. The parents too are suffering. So what do we really do? I think it's an issue that we should not just leave to government and ASUU.
These vanguards of good education say Nigerians in all sectors must be involved and in making informed demands on government, make valuable contributions that would lift the education sector and future of Nigeria out of the doldrums. Omelogo Nadi, Channels Television News.
Well, let's shift focus from education to the aviation sector. And in response to the query issued by the President, the Minister of Aviation, Stella Odua, has defended the purchase of 2 armoured vehicles by the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority. She is insisting that the procurement of the 2 armoured BMW cars at the cost of 255 million naira followed due process. According to the Aviation Minister, provision was made in the 2013 budget for the procurement of the vehicles, along with other specialized equipment to complement or replace obsolete ones. Part of Ms. Odua's response reads, quote, "Towards the effective implementation of its statutory regulatory responsibilities, it's imperative that the NCAA is fully equipped with highly specialized tools and facilities, including adequate operational vehicles to cover all 22 national airports and over 400 airstrips," end of quote. In addition to querying the minister, President Goodluck Jonathan on Wednesday set up a 3-man administrative panel to investigate the purchase of the armed cars. Now the panel has 2 weeks to submit its findings.